Hi guys, I'm Alaina. I'm back here to answer some YouTube questions. So let's get started. All right, please, anybody can explain what are the differences between the models of Speedmaster, why they have that much names, and what are the most desirable models? This is a pretty loaded question and a lot of different questions on the table. So what are the differences between the models of Speedmaster? Well, I could go on and on about the differences in the models because they've been producing these forever. Speedmaster Reduced, Speedmaster Moon watches, all sorts of different things. There's, consistent regular pieces in the line. They also make a ton of different limited editions. Why they have that much names? Well, like many watches and many brands of companies, they have to distinguish them one way or another, so they give them different names. With regards to the most desirable models, I think most Speedmaster collectors like to stay true to the brand, which is the Moon watch, so a manual wind. They do make a manual wind with a sapphire sandwich. People seem to love that. It's a great piece, it's cool, you can see the movement. One of my personal favorites. I also like the gray side of the moon, dark side of the moons. From a collectability standpoint, people seem to love the Apollos and the Snoopies. I personally like some of the Omega Reduced. I've talked about this in a couple shows, I think with Jason. Not everybody is a fan of the Reduced, but because they are a smaller case size, I generally like them. There's some really cool ones with neon dials and just some really cool collectible pieces. I think that, if you are a real watch collector, you are going to have a Speedmaster in your collection. I'm starting to think about getting myself a more expensive but still entry-level luxury watch. We often hear people saying that for more inexpensive watches, you should only service it if you notice anything wrong. Does the same also apply for luxury brands, or should I strictly follow their recommendations? This is a question that bounces around the office all the time, and a lot of different people have different opinions. I personally believe that the watch should be serviced every 4 to 5 years. You would not let the oils dry up in a car, so why would you let them dry up in your watch? Even if it's running well, you should definitely have it checked out. Again, 4 to 5 years, depending on the movement and the watch brand. Next, what is your Grail? What is the top piece in your collection? This is an insanely hard question when you see watches coming in each and every day. It also probably depends on the day when you ask most of us. For me at the moment, it's an FP Journe calendrier. They made a rose gold version with a mother of pearl black dial. It's absolutely stunning. I think 10 were made for Sincere in China, and they're floating around the market, but if I could have anything, definitely my Grail. The calendrier is kind of the best mix of functionality and beauty. An annual calendar, retrograde, a cool complication. FP Journe, arguably the best watchmaker out there. I think it's just a mix of beauty and functionality. The mother of pearl, each and every piece is unique and different, and the black mother of pearl goes with pretty much everything I wear, which is always black, so that's why I like it. With regards to the top piece in my collection, honestly, my collection is not very big at this point, but for sentimental purposes, probably just my Rolex Datejust. It was gifted to me from my mom and dad when I graduated college, so sentimental. It's a great, versatile, everyday piece. So yeah, it's probably the top one right now. Panerai is in decline, right? Especially the ones that have less classical features of Panerai. We seem to get these questions all the time regarding all different brands, and I have been hearing talk about the decline of Panerai, but generally, the watch world and watch brands are cyclical. They go up, they go down in popularity. We still see a good amount of success with Panerai. There's a niche group out there that are Paneristas. They love the brand, they look for special stuff. I also think Panerai is doing a really smart thing in sizing down. I think we're going to continue to see watch sizes move further and further down the scale in terms of case diameter. With the Douai in-house movements, I think they're moving in the right direction. Again, it goes up and it goes down. They may not be the best sellers at the moment, although there's always good, consistent models. So the reason I think there's talk about Panerai being on the decline is a couple things. Like I mentioned, I think that we're seeing case sizes move down and get smaller. Panerai generally is a pretty big watch. Again, they've released some smaller case sizes, which I think is the right move and smart. But I think that's one thing. I think there's a lot of them in the market, and unless you're really familiar with the brand, they all kind of look alike. So as I mentioned, the kind of niche collector out there that's looking for something specific and knows what they're looking at can discern and pick out the differences, but I think, you know, the general population can't necessarily distinguish one model from another. I also think, you know, when brands try to move away from their core in the history of, you know, a lot of different brands, it generally doesn't go well. People that stay true to their core and stay true to their design tend to do better. So, you know, right now it may not be the most popular thing, but I think if they do stay true and they continue to use those classical features, you know, the crown guard, specific types of lugs, that kind of thing, that they will come back around. It just takes kind of one great watch fair or one great release for the brand to get momentum again. The Aquanaut is like a boy's watch companies used to make back in the day. Seriously, how desperate an ego would you need to buy that? This is an interesting one. I'd love to know who sent this in. You know, the Aquanaut is a really simple design, but it's kind of a special piece in the sense that it was one of the first pieces Patek produced that combined sports and luxury. So I'm not sure that it's intended, you know, to be what it is now, which has become a bit of a status symbol. It was really kind of meant to be a transitional piece for the brand in a specific time, and the style, true to Patek's nature, they you know, stay true to their heritage, has continued up until this day, and it is definitely something different now, but I think real true watch collectors understand the significance of that piece, especially in the history of Patek. All right, so that is it. Thank you guys for tuning in and sending questions. Definitely send more. Hopefully we'll be back on here answering your questions. And if you ever want to get in touch, feel free to reach out through Instagram, email, give us a call. We're always around and happy to answer any of your watch questions.